Are we live? Are we live? Can you hear me? Let's see, what has it got? Has it got us public? Are we public yet? Okay. Yep, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Did you put the links?
Whoa.
Hey.
Hello. Can you hear me? Oh my.
What? Is it gross?
No,
Like
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not
It's a
even,
spring roll.
I'm not saying a word. Good Lord, woman. Maybe we'll get Peter to call in. He'll take up your cause. You poor woman, you. You were saying, "Oh my God!" The Sawyer was saying, "Oh my God."
Because I had my hands on my face.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Hey, Tiwa's in the house. There's something wrong. There's no audio delay. Fuck you very much, Tasco. What are we looking at? What am I trying to... no, I'm not... What's that? Oh, there it is. I figured it out. All right, so tell the villagers that that we're live. Come on down. Ba-bam. Ba-bang. And then we do... What's the other one?
You already did Patreon?
Middle America. Got to get my Middle Americans in there and let them know. What's up, y'all? We're coming back in a second. Remember that guy? That guy was saying that I was an impersonator. Did I ever tell you that? Somebody thought I was impersonating Vin and Sori.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I swear, man.
Very interesting.
People are hilarious. You know, it's funny.
Those are supposed to be fried dumplings.
People still do the whole... oh, you have joint accounts. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Who cheated? Blah, blah,
it's
blah.
It's so funny because I would not like it if people were saying that to me.
Saying what?
That whole thing.
Why? Oh, I don't care about that.
It would insult me.
How is the interview? If this is the guy, you were featured in the interview, sir.
It's gotta be Matt.
Greetings from Germany. Think I will regret this because it's 2 a.m. and you stay, and I will stay with you the whole night again. Awesome, sir.
I mean, that's gonna be Matt because I told him it was today.
Yeah, that was him, right?
Yeah, Matt messaged me on Patreon because there's something special coming your way.
Something special coming your way, sir. It pays to be a winner. Vin talks about the Bronx yet wears a Red Sox shirt. That's a good one. That's a good catch, my guy.
The interview that we did today, the guy had a New York Yankees in the back. And there he was sporting his Red Sox.
So you wanna be hardcore with your hat to the back, talking about the gats in your raps? You've logged out of Patreon? Mm-mm. Oh, you kill me. I swear. I swear you kill me.
This is your computer. What you do is your business.
Yeah. Likely story. So what's going on, y'all? Hello from Poland. What's up? Quarantine Chronicles episode 2. Yes, that is on the way, sir.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Why did you buy that shirt? Did you like it? Like it was soft, or you like the look of it, or you're a Red Sox fan?
I just needed a gym shirt. I kept running out of them. You need to react to Amongst the Shadows by Trivium. Blah, 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 blah. Your Middle America page is nuts these days. Yeah, a lot of craziness on the Middle America page. That's true. You're very right about that. Y'all react to Exodus Suicide Boys. I don't know much about the Bible and want to hear your interpretation of it. Exodus, they're kind of a big band, huh? I'll check it out. We'll put it on the list. Exodus Suicide Boys. Is that what is that the title of the song?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll do it. Just testing out my guitar, aka Lilith. You named your guitar? Lilith.
Mm-mm. Not some kind of demon?
We went to check our mail, Patty, about 3 days ago and haven't seen it yet. But tomorrow we're going back to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go back to the thingamajiggy, so we'll do it. Do you know Astronomy by Metallica? No, I've never heard that from Metallica. Vin and Sori, please learn that COVID-19 doesn't exist. It's one huge hoax.
Oh, no.
Well, considering I just got done talking to a person in New York City whose wife could have died from COVID, and he just recently recovered himself. She had 18 days straight at 104 fever. That's a hell of a hoax. That's a lot of people to take part in the hoax.
We have people in the channel that are, fighting it right now.
Oh, we also know people who died.
Yeah.
On
right.
COVID. This is a badass guitar. Look at this sweet rig that
Did
Zombie Holic in the house.
Did you splash it, Jay, or did it come like that?
Jay is like such an artistic dude. Lilith was my nickname in college.
He said it means first woman?
Yeah, Lilith, the first woman. You know, she got banished from the Garden of Eden and all that. Let this be a warning. Josh from Texas.
Not like Eve. That's not like Eve?
Yeah, my uncle died from corona. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
I knew it, Jay. It looked like your style.
Would you attend a concert this year, even with the corona still out there? It depends. It depends. For me, anyway. Heaven Shall Burn. I don't think we did any Heaven
For me,
Shall
if Vin took the
Burn.
chance and went to the concert, then he has a chance of catching it, which means I could also catch it, and I don't want to catch it. So if he was going to go, I'd probably just go too, but I would really advise him not to.
We're going to do an entire Operation Mindcrime review,
but
possibly.
We're trying to work out the details of how to make that happen.
Yeah. Can y'all please react to Elizabeth? Live by Camelot. What's up, Bradley Puppies? Have y'all heard of Place of Skulls, the band, not the site? No, never heard of them.
We'll be publishing an interview soon.
Chris, you should check out Big Wreck. Dimmu Borgir.
I liked Misfits.
I did. Yeah, I like them too.
But you like the Metallica version better.
For sure. Silent Planet Trilogy was crazy good. Yeah, I think that's Sori's song of the year so far.
It's Thai food, Chris.
What's up, DJ? I'm feeling pretty good, buddy. I'm feeling really, really good. Glad to see everybody's healthy.
We went to 4 or 5 different stores to get Vin's ice cream.
Yep. Musings in the house. What's up, big homie?
Musings, did you notice that there was only the reaction of Dorian opening your gift? I don't know if I recorded on Vin's phone or what happened. I couldn't find it anywhere. But the kids were thrilled. And I think a lot of them used it on Fortnite.
Biden denying the sexual accusation ever took place. I believe Biden is lying too much, supporting evidence for terror.
That interview with that lady was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I mean, none of us can say what happened. It was 27 years ago. But if I compare this to Christine Blasey Ford, obviously Tara Reid has way more. And of course, Biden's hesitation to release the Delaware stuff is obviously a red flag. And it was odd because it looked like he wasn't prepared to answer that question.
Yep.
Which I can't blame Biden staffers for that because I'm pretty certain they probably did go through that drill with him. But I don't think he's in the place mentally to where he could quote the memorized answer that he was supposed to quote. And so things looked pretty ugly for him. So, yeah. Julio! Whoa! Julio!
No, Jay, I got spring rolls.
Is this like the Julio, like OG Julio? I'm pretty sure Julio was like literally the first person to ever comment, even before...
Where? Point to.
Right there.
Oh. I don't remember.
By the way,
what's up, Amy Lee?
How do you know Vanderchuck?
Amy, my phone is broke. So if you've been texting me, I haven't been able to. It's been quite a few days. They're sending me another one out, but it just died.
Sean, we did. What's up, Kenneth Cameron? I'm a big fan of you, my bae. We did do a thing with Alex Hefner. Let me try to Vin and Sori. Let me try to put it together.
Why did he say we should do one?
Yeah.
Did we get together with him twice?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we did it twice. It's true.
Well, one of them we weren't sitting there with him. We reacted to his reaction of that whole thing.
Yeah. All right, there you go. There is the... Yeah, Julio. Was it you? Are you the same Julio guy from way back in the day? There you go. That's our Alex Hefner thingamajiggy. Big fan. Just want to say what's up. Okay, read that one. Forbidden Zone by the Misfits.
These noodles is really messy because they gave me chopsticks. I asked them for silverware. He was like, "Yes, there's plenty in there." Did you put the
pepper in that thing?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
I'm afraid it's going to be too hot.
Did you put one?
Yep.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Okay.
That Fight Fire with Fire solo is like stuck in my head. What's up, Cruz? Otis the Bully. What's good, Otis the Bully?
I have a weird question.
CNN took down the video of the mom calling Larry King. Did they really?
Wow.
If they did, that's stupid of them to do that.
Is Thai food Japanese? What is Thai?
From Thailand.
Thai?
Thailand.
Okay.
So Thailand, they're their own state.
Excellent.
What's up, Overshadow Sean? My coworkers who are mostly liberal think Trump will blow Biden out of the water if it's those two, because they truly believe Biden might be suffering from dementia and his recent scandals. I think it's obvious. I mean, you see the guy in the interviews and, he's got these blank stares and all that. And, there's so many times I'm like, oh, I'm going to shoot a Middle American video on that. And I stop myself. Like yesterday,
You feel so bad for him.
There was a clip where he was asked a question and he just went blank for about 4 seconds. And I'm like, I'm not...
A very important question.
It was a very important question, but I just feel so terrible, like, jumping on the guy.
Not me.
Everybody's piling on. I know. Well, you shoot your own video. Go ahead.
Like I said before, he's putting himself out there. He wants to have one of the most powerful positions. And then no. And his wife shouldn't play that game with him. She should tell him he's not well, not tell everybody to swallow it.
What are the guys from Korn like in person? Well, I spend most of my time talking to Head. And then Fieldy came in. Mm-hmm. Fieldy's a preacher.
Fieldy?
He's a preacher, man. He just came in there straight. Brah! Brian.
But he was so nice. Like, what he was doing. Like, he was creating this art that he only makes X amount of
Yeah, there's only like 9 of them in the world, yeah.
And then he uses one of them and gave it, just gave it away. Like, there happened to be a group of people there that were with a drug rehab program, and he gave that to them, like that exclusive copy like that. Signed it for them and everything for free, even though,
For free.
I just thought, wow, that's crazy, like...
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted. He came in and he basically asked everybody, like, what's going on with you so I know who I'm supposed to give this to? And then he knew right where, it was obvious where it needed to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Vin and Sori, would you be open to more Deathspell Omega? Yes. I really like Deathspell Omega. And anytime I hear a request for Decibel Omega, I try to like overlook it because of my own bias. Because I am biased toward them because they're the stuff that they speak about. At least
Yes, Brian.
the two Decibel Omega songs that have been forwarded to us were very deep theological, and they went for like an hour and a half discussion. But yeah, I'm a fan of Decibel Omega for sure. Typo?
Mm-mm. Well, that too, but Brian's Journey opened the door.
Oh, for Overshadow Sean, no doubt. I'll tell him that. That's all. He that stuff encourages him. He likes it. Yeah, definitely sad David left the group, man. Definitely a sad thing. Did you know about this? We talked about this yesterday with this person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely a sad thing. And it looks like that's pretty much gonna be the case.
I'm just gonna tell them.
So I'm pretty sad about that. But yeah. Shout out to David Silveria. What's up?
I'm checking something.
Do you guys like Seven Dust? I like a couple Seven Dust songs. I'm not really a big Seven Dust fan, but I don't. What's up from the gutter? Stop with Soupy. It's not like it's not like I hate Seven Dust. It's just, you know, they weren't really one of my big bands back in the day. So there's that. Vision of Disorder, never heard of them. What's up, bro? Much love from Florida. We're in Florida, William. I used to live in Palm Bay. Infinite Annihilator, behold the kingdom of the wrecked undying. That sounds interesting. Behold the kingdom of the wrecked undying? Of the wrecked. Carol Baskin is a murderer. Good night. What's going on, Face?
No, bring me my water bottle filled with water.
Their current drummer is great drummer, but he's actually too talented for Korn. They lost some of their groove. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's too talented for Korn, but you know, they're not a funk groove metal band like they used to be. I've been on a Korn. I've been on a reaction channel, Wormhole, lately, and one of the more enjoyable one had been the reactions to Best Breakdowns. It was super and introduced me to stuff I still enjoy. What's up, Chad? Between Tampa and Orlando.
What about the band Blood Simple? I've never even heard of that.
Blood Simple.
Did I read that wrong?
I saw Blood Simple. I saw Blood Simple live with Mudvayne with Jamie.
Really?
Way back in the day. Yep. Yo,
like
we haven't done Pantera in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Cycle Stick? Yes. Yes, I have heard of Cycle Stick. I forgot who asked us about it. Is it either Zonia or Ben Webb? Where's Ben Webb?
So it's... Oh, okay. Well, are they popular? I like some of that funny stuff. Sometimes it's just so heavy all the time.
Better Owl, Master of Puppets, or Ride the Lightning? I'm not sure, man. I really am not sure. I really don't know. I think Fade to Black is one of the most amazing songs of all time. For Whom the Bell Tolled is another amazing song. Fight Fire with Fire is another amazing song. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. X mentioned Cycle Stick. Okay. Orion is on Master. Pantera, Primal Concrete Sledge. Have you listened to Stained? Stained was actually the second live band I've ever seen in my life. So it was this Korn Sick and Twisted tour. You had Mindless Self-Indulgence, Stained, and then Korn. And Stained were very, 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 very good live. Very good live.
We don't usually as like reactions unless somebody like talks to us about it and we figure something out. Thank you.
What's?
They had a spray bomb.
Oh.
Like a chemical one?
Mm-hmm. I'm about to step on the process. Oh, I will watch you.
He almost just fell down the stairs because I can't roll.
I know. I'll skip into the water.
MSI is the best out of that list of bands. What's MSI?
Johannes
Mindless self-indulgence? You're crazy. They're not better than Korn, you weirdo.
He was supposed to be watching it.
They were fun, though. Mindless self-indulgence was very, very fun. There's like this big jihad going on outside the door. It was hilarious. Favorite subgenre of metal? Probably black metal. Magua. Early Rammstein. Well, okay, give me an early Rammstein title. Thoughts on Mushroom Head? We only did one song from Mushroom Head, but I liked them. I thought they were okay. They didn't really like stick out to me or stay with us, but they were okay. Ben Moen, you're also crazy. None of those bands. Mindless Self-Indulgence is not better than Korn. You guys are insane. What would it take for you to become Catholic? Death Step. Is that death metal and dubstep, T-Waz? What would it take for me to become Catholic? If the Pope would sign on sola fide, I would be a Catholic.
Here's the 1-year-old, guys.
Yeah. Ian! What's up, Ian? Yeah, we're good, brother. Kill Switch Engage, Element of One. That's a good one. Would love to see you react to Warren's Uncle Tom's Cabin. Was supposed to be the lead singer, but Rickard wanted a catchy hit, so the singer wrote Cherry Pie, and the singer's words destroyed him. And
You're gonna have to go out now. You're too loud. All right, say bye. Bye, everybody. Orion out.
Waving at Oreo. He's just like you, Vin. I know. I know.
He wants to do the talking.
What's up, my beautiful people? What's going on? Rammstein, Sentence Sucked is a really good song with interesting lyrics. Pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, which do you believe? I don't believe that there's a future tribulation coming at all. I believe the tribulation that was described happened between April of 67 to 70 AD. So I'm no trib, I guess you'd say. No, Orion leaves. You guys look like a postcard from India with baby Krishna in the center. Yes! Jai! Ian Aspie says, hello to the village. Will you react to the Doom Eternal Lost? What's up, Chris? Well, if people like Doom, then yes, we recommend that you update the app now. Okay, I will update the app. What would it take for you to become a Buddhist, Vin? Nothing, because I would never even consider becoming a Buddhist, just being honest with you. Ayn Rand. Are you talking about Ayn Rand, the author, or Ayn Rand, is that a band? Whoa, Hector, I appreciate you. Best reaction channel ever. I agree! Thank you, sir. Deathstep is basically a dark version of dubstep. Just check out a project called Code Pandorum. Well, if you say it, T-Waz, then I'm going to have to check them out. Code Pandorum. Considering to this moment, T-Waz, your stuff is still in my car. Every time we go out, your stuff is playing. What's up, Blastroid? Blastroid in the house. Wait till Sori comes in. She's going to be very, very happy that you're here. She talks about you all the time. What is your stance on determinism? You're going to have to explain a little bit more about what you mean by determinism. What would it take for you to drop some LSD, Vin? I don't know. I don't think it'll probably ever really happen. Vin clearly doesn't read his Bible, or he'd know the tribulation has not come yet. Well, Ryan, I probably don't read the Bible as much as I should, but my reading of the Bible is the reason that I believe the tribulation's already happened. What do you think of tattoos? I think they're awesome, and I think the reason that I don't have any yet is because I have addictive personality, and I'll probably spend 10 grand on it, and that's not a joke. So there you go. Are you going to react to any more Frank Zappa in the future? Yes. What game system do you play? I play Fortnite every day on my Xbox. And we play with somebody in this forum who I won't mention who. The new Slipknot is some of their best work. I agree. What about a deep dive reaction to Architects and the story with their guitarist? Is there a song called Story with the Guitarist? What do you mean by that? How much do you miss baseball? I'm not really sure that I miss baseball, but I miss Tristan and Floyd, who I played baseball with. They're both with the Ain Sof now, inshallah. So I miss those guys, and I miss that time in my life because things were always crazy at my house, but things were generally okay. Especially the summer before the season started, things were pretty good for us. So I don't miss baseball, but I miss my friends for sure. Seven Dusted in the house. What's up, Seven Dusted? What's your thought on deterministic versus libertarian free will? Well, the real sort of either or is between compatibilism and libertarianism, and I'm not a libertarian. I don't believe in libertarian free will, but I do believe in compatibilist free will. But as for you, O man of God, flee evil, pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and mayonnaise. Astaghfirullah. Are you guys ever going to do another punk week? Very possible. We're waiting on one band to initiate another themed week because we're about to do another recording blitz. But we're waiting on a particular band, and they're taking forever to do this thing. It's unbelievable. Then where is Jesus? You're basically saying the prophecies are wrong. No, Ryan, I'm not saying the prophecies are wrong at all. I'm saying that the interpretation that you hold to, which didn't exist in the Christian church until the 1800s, I'm saying that interpretation is wrong. I'm not saying that Jesus is wrong. Hey, Vin, I've been wanting to ask, how do you feel about Tom Brady? Still a fan? Yeah, I love Tom Brady. I think he's going to have one of the best seasons he's ever had. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to win.
I like Tom Brady, and that's why I'm not a fan of the Patriots anymore. Because they still have Belichick.
Shall see the righteous face to face. Oh, by the way, Peter's friend messaged you. Forgot to tell you.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, check the messages. What's up, Johnny Stout? Yeah, they only did what all other teams have done forever. Yeah, I don't think the Patriots did anything wrong. I don't think they did anything wrong to Tom Brady. So, it is what it is. But I was never like a Patriots fan. I was a Tom Brady fan. Just like I was never really a Cavaliers fan. I was a LeBron fan. I'm more of like, if somebody's like a leader and that has that drive and the never quit attitude, I love that. And so that's why I love Brady. Astros for life. Are you a follower of Islam? No. Your reactions are my top 3 of all time. Whoa!
Did you hear this?
If you ever react to Thrice again, you should do the Artist in the Ambulance. Thank you very much.
Woe unto man who cannot possibly create a worm, but creates gods by the dozen.
Oh, that's
That's
brilliant.
good.
That's brilliant. Yes, Black Metal Week. Yeah, we haven't done a Black Metal Week. Should Floor Jansen's fans be called the Floor Gang?
Kendall White, send a picture to our email, vinandsori@gmail.com.
They should be called the Jan Gang. You know, like the Yang Gang? The GOAT of basketball. The GOAT of basketball. Yeah, I'll give it to Jordan. I'll give it to Jordan. Statistically, LeBron is going to supersede Jordan in every category. But if Jordan wouldn't have retired for that season and a half, they probably would have had 8 rings in consecutive years, which I just think would be impossible to surmount. So I'll give the nod to Jordan, which
I said, is it fine to open the window? You said yes,
well, it is.
right?
I just didn't know there'd be all that noise out there. What is that?
It's a car. They're parking.
Oh, okay, no worry. Why don't you do any rap reviews? We did one rap review. It was on Jay-Z's Dead Presidents. The reason I don't do rap reviews is because we break down lyrics, and rap lyrics are so dense that it would take 2 hours for it to be a serious review. That's why we don't do it. I am Andrew Ryan. I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington. It belongs to the poor. Is that a question? No, says the man in the Vatican. It belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow. It belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers and said I chose something different. Okay. What did you choose? Ben Webb in the house! On the one hand, I can't say definitively what makes a man a man. On the other hand, I can say with certainty that Vin isn't one. I love it. Hold on. But Jesus is supposed to reign and return to the earth after the tribulation, so I'm as confused as to what you think. Jesus spoke of the destruction of the temple. That happened in AD 70. Well, where does the Bible say that Jesus is supposed to reign on the earth after the tribulation? Where does it say that?
Are you watching The Last Dance? Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes. Hello from Portugal. What's up?
He has his reasons for why we stay away from rap, but that's one of the reasons why I want to stay away from it too, is because we predominantly do metal, and most metal, most of our subscribers are not into us doing both.
Mm-hmm. Ian said, by the way, Silent Planet Trilogy is one of my favorite songs of 2020. What an amazing song.
Nice.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, Seven Dusted.
We did an Eminem review as well. Jordan calling himself Yahweh took him off the pedestal for me. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, LC Ashba? Good to see you.
These are his grandparents. He said that we could be their lookalikes. That's so funny.
Who? Who is that?
Oh. Kendall.
That's pretty crazy.
Yes, I know. That's
we should put that as the screen. Are you okay with us putting that as the screen cap for the fireside? What makes a man a man?
She went blonde too?
What makes a man is being able to control his emotions and provide for his family if he has one. That's a good one.
Risky.
231.
Wasn't this risky at that time?
Yeah.
Look how old these pictures are.
Probably, because you know how white people are. What y'all be doing to people, beating people
and
up.
have yourself a black man, then. They must have run into some trouble.
Thank you,
Zombie
I thought you guys lost your mind when you reacted to Gangnam Style. Sori's reaction was my reaction. I never laughed so hard. You guys definitely made fun of Gangnam Style.
Oh, it's out of control.
Hello, Antichrist Rapture. Last 7 years. You can't be serious right now. Ryan, do me a favor And point me to the verse in the Bible that talks about the 7-year tribulation.
Double A says, you have a nice beard.
Also, Ryan, point me to the verse that talks about the rapture that uses the term rapture and the 7-year tribulation together.
Yeah, the usual, Sean. Yeah, 7 Dusted. I threw around the idea with Vinny, and he wants to kind of come up with, I don't know. So he's got a couple different ideas he's throwing around. So I'll be in touch with you to let you know once he comes to a conclusion or a decision.
Okay, Ryan, it doesn't speak of the word rapture. Okay, what about 7-year tribulation? Point me to the verse that talks about the 7-year tribulation. But the Bible speaks in parables just as Jesus did. Okay, well then why are you acting as if it's just this patently obvious thing that I'm crazy for not believing in? If you're saying that it's not directly found in Scripture and that you have to interpret it in a parable, then you should be more gracious to me. But beyond that, show me where it says anything about a 7-year tribulation in the New Testament.
Sean says, God said, I shall make obedient and meek women in all the corners of the earth. Then he made the earth round, and he laughed and laughed.
You're an obedient woman.
No.
Are you sure?
Don't even say something like that.
I did that for Peter in case he watches the thingamajiggy. There's rumors of Cradle of Filth
As I just
doing a
asked you if I
virtual
can
live
open
gig.
the window, but nobody knows all the details around it.
Okay,
Can I
if
open the window?
Cradle of Filth does a virtual live gig, then we're gonna have to do a live stream of that. The rapture is such a trope for people who didn't thoroughly read the Bible and who buy into church trends. Yikes. I didn't say it. Zonia said it, not me. Best Ben and Jerry's flavor. If I could find a Ben and Jerry's butter pecan, I would buy like 50,000 shares of that stock.
When I get in the mood for it, I like the it's like it's a chocolate ice cream with brownies inside. I like that one.
Yep. A man is a good, honest, and humble person. That's good, Double A. I'm with you, buddy. Did somebody just text me?
No, I tapped on your screen and then I got curious.
Did you see the Post Malone Nirvana tribute gig?
You thought it was great?
A lot of people have been talking about that one.
I played a few seconds of it and I was like,
maybe we should.
I should have given it a better try, I guess.
Yeah, maybe we should look at that. Because I heard a lot of people say that the Post Malone stuff was
I know, 7 Dusted. I hope you're home by then too.
He better be home. I'll fly over there myself.
Pizza Hut or Domino's? Depends on my mood, but
Pizza
mostly
Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Easily Pizza Hut. A native guy once told me that teepees are round so the wife can't corner you when she's mad. Yes,
That's a
Pinky.
funny visual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we already did a 7 Son and the 7 Son reaction. Pretty sure we did.
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah. What's the safest kind of joke to tell during quarantine? Inside jokes. Favorite Pokemon? Pikachu.
I don't know any of those characters.
You didn't do a score on the new Blacken. I'm pretty sure we did. We didn't score the new Blacken?
I did. I scored it low. I don't know about you.
Do you believe COVID-19 has been hyped more than what it is because of the large discrepancies in the number of deaths compared to the model predictions? Well, to me, that's the best of a bad situation. I would much rather COVID be overhyped and less of our friends die than it be underhyped and more people die than what was projected.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, I do think shutting down businesses and gutting the economy is also going to have a deleterious effect on the life and well-being of people, and so it has to be balanced. And we cannot only phrase this as people who care about health on one side and people who only care about money on the other side, when it's a demonstrable fact that when people are impoverished, especially if they're impoverished and they were not expecting it, it's a fact that violence increases, suicidal ideation increases. We're already seeing it with the domestic violence stuff, child abuse, suicide rates increasing. And so I think it's an unenviable position right now to be in any form of government, because those balances are impossible to do accurately, and you can only do it with the gift of hindsight, and we've never been in this situation before in the modern world. So I pray a lot for our leaders, Democrat and Republican, and all over the world, because I think it's these guys are carrying an impossible task and an impossible burden, and they're never going to make people happy. But it's beyond making people happy. It's about it's literally life and death. And so I think our government officials need a lot less judgment and more support from the people that they're trying to lead.
If someone hasn't heard of Metallica or Iron Maiden, I do not judge them, because I too was like that at one point. All I saw was Metallica shirts. I didn't know anything about them. And I guess we'll have to look at it, but apparently we didn't rate that Black and Death one, but
Really?
just like and didn't like.
Daniel 9:7 is about the tribulation. Well, that's what you say, Ryan, but you remember you said, hello, 7-year tribulation. Like how could you not know that? So what I'm asking you for is, tell us where in the Bible the term 7-year tribulation is used. Because remember, you said that he said obviously Vin hasn't read his Bible very well if he believes the tribulation just happened. And I told him, like, I don't read my Bible as often as I should. I agree. But
where is the tribulation?
Where is the 7-year tribulation, Ryan? I figured Vin didn't start off as black. But being such a metalhead, he got rusty in the shower. That was very inventive. Very, very inventive.
He could rust in the shower with how long he's in there.
Yeah. Downside of COVID-19, no more hugs.
Somebody hugged me at the store. A complete stranger.
Really? We've been in the tribulation since 1965 when the Atlanta Falcons entered the league.
Remember? That's what we were able to do because of our patrons.
Oh!
So we have this really cool story.
Oh,
so
yeah, I think we should. I think we should share it. Yeah.
It's going to sound probably kind of racist at first. So it's going to absolutely sound racist, okay? So we're in the store, we're in Walmart, and we're going to cash out, and I just wanted to get back to see the kids. So I'm trying to find the shortest line, and then Vin starts heading into a line that has a Somalian lady there, and I said, no, don't pick that line. There's always some issue, there's always some complication, and you're going to get stuck in the line. And so he was like, just kind of like looking at me like at first he looked like he didn't really believe me. And then sure enough, she goes up, boom, complications. The guy says, yeah, he's like, there's an issue with the order right now, so we have to wait right now. And so I looked at Vin, I'm like, boom. And so then I go to head to another line, and I'm like waiting in the other line, and Vin is nowhere to be seen. I said, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. Vin is over there because he feels bad for the lady. So I go back over. I said, Vin, I saw that she had a bag of rice. I said, Vin, just buy the bag of rice for her. And because my goal was just to get out of the store. And so Vin was like, well, you go over and buy it because it's like, because of their culture, it's better for women engage women rather than a man coming up to a woman. So I'm like, okay. So I went over and I said, we're just going to buy, I'll just buy it for her. And then I go to stick my card in, and the bill was like way more than what I thought it was going to be, because it wasn't just a bag of rice. And then I realized that it was actually her entire basket of groceries. And I was like, and like for like a second I paused, and then I was like, oh, like we have Patreon, so that's cool. So basically, like, because of what our patrons do, I was able to just go through with that order and pay for her groceries. She was like, no. She's like, it's too much. Let me pay you back. Let me take your number, pay you back. And I was like, no. And then, obviously they called God Allah. So I said, Allah has blessed us, and so we want to bless you. And she was like, she was blown away. She kept hugging me and thanking me. And like, that was because of Patreon that we were able to do something like that for her.
100%.
And then it was really cute because we were able to get all of her stuff for her. And then when she was leaving, she said that her kids were going to be really happy because she got chocolate and flour. So she has a couple kids at home, and she, I guess, works locally at the hospital, but obviously there was some financial issue or some problem with her card or something. The guy was being a jerk to her too, the cashier.
He was horrible.
So yeah, it was really cool and it was really fun for us. I kind of feel bad for you patrons because you weren't able to be there and experience the moment. But I wasn't going to be like one of those people that takes out their phone and records their actions. That's just absolutely ridiculous. But so thank you to our patrons. We were able to, you're helping out people in Maine and all over the place because of your generosity.
You beautiful people, you beautiful people, you. Yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very, very cool moment. I think your buddy Sarcast.
It was funny because when she hugged me, I'm like, oh, this is such a sweet moment. And then I was thinking COVID-19 because she's like hugging me tight. And it was really cool. She, she said a couple of really special things to me also that we'll probably share at another time, but
yeah, it was a sweet moment. It's a sweet moment brought to you by the beautiful people of the village. So you guys are coming through in the clutch as always. Thank you very much, you beautiful people. All right. I think Sarcast.
Taffer, it's because what we're using for a light is 2 computer screens. And basically they're both crap computers. And would this be considered it's like a monitor that attaches to that one. Yeah. But both of them are garbage, and then they keep shutting off on us, and they take forever to load up.
Garbage? That's garbage. That's not garbage. That's a pretty good monitor.
Okay, well, you can't tell that this one's not garbage because that one is such garbage, and that controls that.
You're horrible. You're horrible. Just terrible. Just terrible, horrible, no good, very bad.
Is this how you treat your greats?
Y'all familiar with E. Michael Jones? No. No, I did not. Hey, is that John Confrey? Why would you be blessed by Allah? You're a Christian. That makes no sense. Allah is simply the Arabic term for God.
Yeah, zombieholic. And it was cool, too, because there was this other guy that was behind us in line, and he was like, it was a little awkward when he said, he was like, this is why America's the greatest
country in the world!
I was like, it's not because I'm American, it's because I'm a Christian. But anyway, no, but he was like, that's what we need more, people helping out other people and stuff like that, like, it was cool because you could tell, like, it was important to him, too, to see, so.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the big homie hasn't given us the verse where there's a 7-year tribulation. And he won't, because there is no such
Listen,
verse.
I had this argument with Vin, like, so many years ago.
It's not an argument.
Whatever you want to call it. Debate.
Just tell me where it is.
And
he says there's tons.
I know, Ryan, that's what I thought too, but I literally couldn't find a single one.
You're useless.
Who was useless?
Me. I think I'm useless. I think he's angry at me because I asked him to show me that in the Bible. I think he's mad.
Afraid of you.
I think it's there in plain text.
No. I'm talking about this.
Ryan,
podcast.
Ryan, my brother, here. Call us up on Skype and direct everybody to the plain text that talks about the 7-year tribulation.
Bye, Bradley.
Where is that
Stay safe.
Where is that phraseology in the New Testament? Unbelievable. Hey, Perkinos.
Vin has slimmed down.
Perkinos. Vin, New York must reinstate its Democratic presidential primary in June. A federal judge ruled after a lawsuit by the former candidate Andrew Yang. Whoa! Okay, so they try to get Bernie out. They shut it down. Bernie didn't have the cojones to go and sue. Mm-hmm. It took Andrew Yang to do it, but Yang did it, and here we go. Mm-hmm. This is great. This is awesome. I'm very happy. And Ryan Carmichael, I'm going to forgive you for calling us useless. Tribulation is used several times in the New Testament and also Revelation. I agree with you. Where is the term 7-year tribulation, though? Because that's what we were talking about. You said that's in the Bible. So get us a chapter and verse that tells us about the 7-year tribulation.
Vanessa, the Christian view on what?
What's up, Germany? 3 a.m. The FBI actually came and took the machine they do for testing. Whoa, that's crazy. Good for them. It's connected to Daniel, Vin. That's great, Ryan. Please show us where it says anything about a 7-year tribulation, either in Daniel or the New Testament.
2 Death 3, which DVD did you send? Aw, Ian. He's looking forward to the next episode.
Post Malone did great. He's a legit metalhead. Man, we really got to look at that. Zonia! Look, I can write up a new verse in the Bible that talks about a 7-year tribulation. I didn't do that. Zonia did that. Don't come after me, bro. Daniel 9 starts it off. Okay, great. Tell us what verse in Daniel 9. Tell us what verse in Daniel 9 talks about a 7-year tribulation. Because I'm not as familiar with the Bible.
Just talking about anything.
I'm not as familiar with the Bible as you, obviously. So please direct us. Please direct us to that.
Ryan, admit you're wrong, dude. Revelation 13:5.
The book of Zonia is apocryphal, not canon. Revelation 13 is...
No, you didn't. Sarcastic. A call didn't come through.
Well, it's because he was calling from Skype, and I didn't have Skype on this. Skype is on yours.
And my phone's broke.
Sarcast, hold on for a second, because I'm trying to learn something new in the Bible. I could never locate this 7-year tribulation thing, but apparently it's very obvious, and any moron who reads the Bible can know it. So we're waiting.
Any useless guy can.
Any useless guy. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this verse that talks about the 7-year tribulation.
Ian, when someone challenges Vin on the Bible, okay, Village, hold my beer.
No, don't call me on WhatsApp. What is the tribulation? That's a good question. From my perspective, the tribulation is the 3.5-year period of April of 67 to 70 AD, in which the Roman military sacked Jerusalem and destroyed the temple, which was prophesied by Jesus to happen within the generation that he was speaking to. And my brother Ryan says that I'm useless and that I don't know my Bible very well. And so I was asking my brother to show me where the Bible ever says anything about a 7-year tribulation. So that's what we've been looking for the last half an hour. Perkinos. The 7-year tribulation is right next to the verse that mentions the rapture. Correct. Correct. I love Perkinos. He's usually horrible to me. Look at this. The beast was given a mouth to speak arrogant and blasphemous words and authority to act for 42 months. Do you know how long 42 months is? That's 3.5 years. Do you know how long the siege of Jerusalem was? 3.5 years. So I love Revelation 13:5. It's one of the reasons I believe that the tribulation was talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. Zombieholic, I don't get why people keep debating Big V and they can't pure entertainment. I'm not going to comment on that.
I know.
Ooh, I like this one from Domingo. One of the things that makes a man is his capacity to confront his problems, emotions, and dependencies in the best way he can. That is awesome. That's really, really good.
Ben Webb.
Is 3.5 years the same as 7 years? No. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not sure.
Oh, my stomach hurts. I think I'm going to go lay down. I'll take my computer, though, and I'll be in the chat. I will be in the chat.
That's sad.
I know. Maybe if I sit in that other chair.
No, it's fine. You should react to confront his emotions, yes, but it's more suppressing that's expected. Well, Sarcast, that was one of the things that confused me, because in the video I said that it's okay to cry and it's good to cry and it's dumb to pretend that you're not hurt. And then you paused the video and said, see, you can't cry. I was very confused, brother. Very confused. Yes, for half-wits. That was pretty smart, T-Waz. I get what you said there. How do I find the video of my shout out? Did we shout out Rich Yonkers? What's up, Jacob Fufu? That freaking Fight Fire with Fire solo is stuck in my head, man. I can't stop. Can't stop. Guns N' Roses is overrated. I don't know. I was starting to warm up to Guns N' Roses until their record label hit us with a copyright strike and put our channel in peril. You're wrong, Sarcast. You're wrong. That's not true. What I said was he fell. We were playing football. He fell. I didn't pick him up. He cried. I said, that's okay. It's about enduring after you get hurt, and it's dumb to pretend that you're not hurt. We were all talking about the exact same event. So you're just wrong. Secondly, I've cried on numerous occasions on this channel. Why would the creator of the universe be concerned about a few apes on Earth? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer to that question. He's very, very loving. God is love. And so that's the best that I got. But why God cares so much about us, I have no idea. And neither did the Bible authors, by the way. Psalm 8 starts out that way. What is man that you care about him, or the son of man that you're concerned for him? Good question. What do you think about Of Mice and Men? I think that book is one of the classical books in literature. I had to read it during my AP English class. And yeah, it's an amazing book. It's an amazing book. God is also hate in equal parts to love. I've never heard that before. What do you mean by that? You know, we had Def Leppard queued up, and then it got beat out by something else. I forgot what it was. Cheesecake or banana pudding? I'm going to have to go with cheesecake. That freaking Fight Fire with Fire thing. Good Lord. Can't get out of my head. Oh, Of Mice and Men is a band. Okay. What is your favorite reaction that you've done? Well, the favorite song that I've ever reacted to on the channel was Exercises in Futility 6 from Magua, because it introduced me to them. I think that Daddy from Korn was probably our most important video because we got a ton of people that reached out to us and shared with us their stories of interactions, dealing with the abuse that they suffered as kids, which is always hard to hear. But at the same time, I felt like we provided a space for people to talk about those issues. So those two stick out. The Wrong Side of Heaven reaction was a very good one because giving it up to the soldiers and soldiers' families, people who've done a lot of sacrifice for us. I thought that was important. I get probably once, twice a week, guys in the military reach out to me and thank us for that reaction. So there have been a couple of them that have been really profound, I think. There's a song Glow by, I forgot the name of the band, but a couple of my friends from the channel were going through a really, really hard time. One of them's here, actually. So that was a special song. So there have been a couple of them. Feminazi stole my ice cream. That's true. Yeah, glow, being is an ocean. Yeah. Being is an ocean. Do you think you can lose your salvation? No, Brian. And the reason I don't think I can lose my salvation, most of the time when that question is asked, I always say it's being phrased correctly. The real question is, can Jesus as the shepherd lose any of his sheep? That's the question. And I would say no. Jesus styles himself, John chapter 10, I'm the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And then to John chapter 6, where he says, this is the will of the Father, that I should lose nothing of all that he has given me. So when Jesus is thinking about us, he doesn't think about us losing salvation. He looks at it as he is losing one of his sheep. And I think Jesus is a good shepherd. And if he's a good shepherd, he's not going to lose any of his sheep. If a shepherd comes home and he's got 100 sheep, and then he comes home to check in at the end, and the master of the house says, hey, how come there's only 99 sheep? I gave you 100. And the shepherd said, well, sheep are dumb. The guy, he ran over a mountain. The master of the house is going to say, well, duh, that's what sheep do. That's why I made you the shepherd. How could you not bring me back all the sheep? So that's my perspective on it. My perspective is that Jesus is a good shepherd and that I am not going to be able to outrun him over a mountain. So the answer is no. In my opinion, biblically speaking. Would you give hallowed be thy name a different grade if you reacted it to, do I believe in angels? Yes, I do. I've had some interactions with them, believe it or not. I don't know, Ape Flight. I might. Oh, this is a good one. What makes a man... You guys have been doing some really good responses. What makes a man is what it means to be human. We cry because we care, and we care because we love. That's really good. I like that one. Yeah, you didn't do anything to earn it, so you can't do anything to lose it. Correct. I'm with you. Paul basically says in Hebrews that if one could lose salvation, Jesus would have to come back to earth and be re-crucified. Right. Hebrews 6. I think the fact that you think of yourself as sheep is part of the issue. Oh yeah, I proudly and happily confess I'm a sheep of Jesus Christ. I have no greater honor in the world. Hello from France. It's funny, I just discovered you guys a few hours ago with reaction to the amazing band Who's Cradle of Filth, and now I'm speaking with you in live. Sorry for my bad English. Your English is better than my French, my brother. Fachol. Matthew, what's up, buddy? Daniel 9:20, I'm not going to sit here and be ridiculed for my faith in the text of the Bible and where it has led me when I interpret it. Your theory of 70 is wrong, and I'll agree to disagree. Well, Ryan... there's nothing wrong, my brother, with having a different interpretation. But what happens is you got in this public forum and you called me useless for disagreeing with you. And so I didn't call you useless back. I turned the other cheek. But not everybody in here is a Christian. So when you insult somebody that they love, they're going to get at you. Now, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but I don't understand how you're playing the victim here when you're the one that was out here saying I didn't know the Bible and calling me useless and all the rest of it. Daniel 9:20 has nothing to... It doesn't say anything about a 7-year tribulation. I ask you a very, very specific question about that. And Daniel 9:20 does not accomplish that, my brother. I'm sorry to tell you. So I'm glad... I'm going to read Daniel 9:20 for everybody. While I was speaking and praying, confessing my sin and the sin of all my people, Israel, and presenting my plea before the Lord my God for the holy hill of my God. That's Daniel 9:20. That says nothing about a 7-year tribulation, my brother. Men can cry because Jesus wept. This whole tough guys don't cry thing is ridiculous. I agree. Sarcast. You know what's interesting? You should look at the Fight Fire with Fire review because I think that'll get you a more balanced perspective. The other stuff, to me, it just seemed that you got triggered because of experiences that you've had, and I'm not saying that those aren't valid, but those aren't my experiences, and that's not the experiences of my kids. So I'm not going to invalidate your experience and say it's irrelevant. It's relevant to you for sure, but it's not a universal issue. The experiences you had are not universal. Later to death. I said it started at Daniel 9:20. Okay. Well, Daniel 9:20 doesn't say any. Daniel 9 doesn't say anything about a 7-year tribulation, brother. Not at all. So, I'm sorry, but the question that I asked you, it remains unanswered. And so I think the solution in that situation, Ryan, is to say there are Christians all over the world who have varying interpretations of what the end times is supposed to mean, et cetera, and leave it at that, instead of calling people useless and saying they don't know the Bible, when you made this proclamation about what the Bible says, and it's been an hour and you've yet to be able to produce the text, right? As Nora says, it's your responsibility to quote the exact scripture, not Vin's. The burden of truth rests on you. Correct. Then what are the 77s, Vin? The 77s are describing the end of the Old Testament economy. It says to make an end to sacrifice, to anoint the most holy, et cetera. All of that happened within Jesus' generation. The destruction of the temple made an end to sacrifice. And the crucifixion of Christ signaled the beginning of the end of sacrifice, because Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. And so the destruction of the temple sealed that up. It also talked about sealing up vision and prophecy, et cetera. All of that happened within the generation of Christ. There's no mention anywhere in Daniel 9 of a 7-year tribulation at all. And that's what I've been asking you for the last hour, and you haven't been able to give it to me. Furthermore, the interpretation that you're holding, I'm not going to say that you're not a Christian. I certainly believe that you are. But the interpretation that you're holding was unheard of in the Christian church until the 1800s. And so that should give you some pause to say, wow, the entire Christian church was wrong about this until the 1800s. Probably not. Where did Sori go? Sori went to lay down. What's up? I want to figure out how to pronounce this word properly. Numenorian. That is a cool name. And Jews await the Antichrist as their Messiah. I just don't believe that. I don't believe the Jews are awaiting the Antichrist as their Messiah. You've obviously bought into a certain perspective on prophecy, and that's okay. I would just advise you not to say crazy stuff like that to your fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, especially if you don't have any textual evidence for your position. I don't know. I mean, over glorifying the warrior ethos is a subjective term. I know how we use the warrior ethos in this house, but we can. Yeah, Ian, we'll check you later. They already denied Christ as their Messiah. When you say they, what are you talking about? What do you mean they? Because our entire New Testament is written by Jews mostly. So we should be careful about the stuff that we say about a whole group of people. We need to be really careful about what we say about people, especially Jewish people, considering our history with Jewish people. I can't make up my mind on eschatology. I honestly doubt any of the major views is anywhere near 100%, though some of the preterism seems kind of legit. Here. What's his name? Peter Peter, you can call me now because I now have Skype downloaded, and I think I'm done talking to Ryan because I think everybody knows now there is no text in the Bible at all from Genesis to Revelation that says anything about a 7-year tribulation. I think we've already established that. So you can call me in. Saying you know how to use an ethos in your house doesn't say much about your attitude outside the house. One man's chocolate is another man's mayonnaise. That's true. But Vin, if women ruled the world, there would be nothing but peace. I don't think so. Yes, Perkinos, you're absolutely right. To answer, check and update your Skype permissions. Oh, I think I probably have you blocked. Let me call him. Skype would like to access your microphone. Yes, you can access my microphone. And then you take him off of... Hold on, guys. Doing some technical stuff here. Zonia and Sori do all my technical work because I'm completely inept. Hillary would have us in eternal war for sure. 100%. We'd be in jihad against the Russians and against the Iranians if Hillary had her way. Yo, Sarcast, I just called you. Oh, there he is. There he is, Mr. America.
Hello, my masculine friend. It's the loser.
Salam alaikum, my emasculated friend. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So, do you hate people who choose Lucifer over God? No, Violet Raven, I do not. Some of my closest friends have chosen Lucifer over God. I love him. And so does God, by the way. Lucifer doesn't, though. Okay. All right. So I'm on the phone with my buddy, my pal, my brother from another mother, Sarcast. And Sarcast and I have had a running discussion about masculinity and toxic masculinity and good masculinity and yada, yada, yada. Recently in the Metallica video, I said a couple things that he took issue with. So we've been having a running discussion and we felt like it would probably be helpful for our village to have the discussion here. So go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, maybe it would be helpful to fill the people in where we are already at, because we don't have to start at zero again. We had a really fruitful discussion, and you enlightened me, and I don't even mean it in a sarcastic way, with your 4 principles, because I asked you at some point, because we are running around circles for an hour, until we got to the best part of it, and then I asked you, okay, what is it that manhood or masculinity is really about for you in a few words? And you came up with 4 principles, right?
Yep.
It was 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then I switched the conversation, because from that point on, I tried to recollect if you actually represented those 4 principles in the Metallica review accordingly, or if or you did a rather lousy job. So I don't want it to be up to me, and I totally give it to you that I might be triggered by some certain things you said there, like the guy, your kid fell down at some confrontational ball sport, and you basically proposed to him, suck it up, get in there, get back in there. And I'm not a confrontational sports guy. I don't like competitiveness in masculinity as an aspect very much. I can compete, and I do, and to some degree, I actually need a challenge. But obviously, in my life experience, not as much as others. So puts me in a tough space not to judge others, and the other way around. But when I see you talking about, that's the pinnacle of manhood, bleeding in the sand, right there, I find myself in a place where I want to question that hard, because, and we covered that in our talk too, I think this is the place we were coming from, defining masculinity that way, and I don't find it useful to continue defining it that way in, let's say, rather peaceful times. Yeah, and I think that's about it at the moment.
Yeah, so should I respond to that, the football thing, or no, Amy Lee Forever, thank you very much for the link. I really appreciate it. Overshadow Sean, we're talking about masculinity, et cetera, et cetera.
I put in a lot there. That's
no,
always
no, you did it. You did it. You did it
with the 4 principles, maybe, huh?
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you, do you want me to answer directly, or should I do the 4 principles? So here are my 4 principles of manhood. And full disclosure, I'm a Christian, so I didn't come up with these myself. One is that he's sacrificial, and obviously as a Christian, I'm going to define manhood by Jesus because he's the ultimate man from my perspective. So 1, he's sacrificial. 2, that he uses his power to advocate for those who have less power than him. 3, he can control himself. And 4, all of those things are done with the spirit of love, ultimately. So those are the 4 principles of manhood that I have, that you're sacrificial, that you use your power for the powerless or the less powerful, and that you can control yourself, and that you do all that through love. So those are the 4 principles of manhood that I believe. I also believe, and this is something that you took issue with, I also believe that it is a man's job, if he is married and has children, because you said something very curious. So I believe it's a man's job to be the person that absorbs pain on behalf of his household. I don't believe it's a woman's job to absorb pain, to be the primary absorber of pain and conflict when there's a man in the house. I don't believe that's a woman's job. So I think that was the point where you seem to have an issue. Or I feel like we had a little bit of a disconnect there, although I left being confused because you said if the home invader shows up that you should go downstairs, you wouldn't send down your fiance.
Yeah, well, but you have to be fair. You asked me that specific question in 2 ways. Mm-hmm. One in theory and one practically, like if it will happen or it would happen in like 5 minutes from now, you know?
Right. What we agreed on is in the real world, if it happened and some home invader broke into your house at 3 a.m, that you said that you feel that you should be the one that would go down there and not your fiance.
Yeah.
So part of like the football situation.
But I made an exception, of course. I made an exception because you brought up roles and that you would actually turn yourself to a cop in a confrontational situation outdoors instead of rather going in by yourself, even though you would find yourself capable of doing so. You would rather turn to a cop.
Well, I have.
It's his role, right?
I have.
And I brought up, yeah, and I'm totally fine with that. But my whole argument was and still is that we are defining those roles in a very dynamic way on the get-go. It's in every moment, by raising every upcoming child, these roles can be defined in a new way or opened up to, I don't know, some or more attributes we haven't thought of maybe.
Well,
so, yeah.
Well, we agreed. So that's why, and this is not only an issue that you have with me, pretty much everybody, whether people I work with or whatever. I function so much in principle and not much in specific situations that people genuinely want to strangle me. But if I take those 4 principles and I say, let's jump into a time machine and go to, caveman humanity, right? Let's operate from a Darwinian worldview, where, because you talked about this, how I don't know how much, I mean, how much can we say on this forum?
What I told you, everything. You can share it.
Okay, so we were talking about some of the mixed messages that happens with women, right? Because on the one hand, they like the guy who cries with them and shares all the stuff with them and yada, 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 very sensitive. But when they go to the club, they all want the alpha male, right?
Yes, but let me say something to that after it.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I thought about that aspect. And it's a big mystery and to me still, because I'm not blind to the fact that it works the other way around too. All those lovely, really graceful women
Yeah.
are really nice to speak to. But maybe what I find myself attracted to are those more badass, kind of dangerous, unpredictable women. So I think it goes both ways. But here's the point.
Yeah.
I see life as a continuous stream of experiences.
Yep.
And you're happy if you learn from your past, and you're doomed to repeat mistakes if you don't. And I think we agree there. So the thing is, you try out at some point in your life, and I hope you find the situation and you have the possibility to do so, that you give into temptation, which would be interesting to discuss with you, coming from a Christian perspective with all your approach to sexuality. But you give in to some certain temptations, and you learn that those kind of dangerous, crazy type of people, may it be men or women, are fun to some degree, and exciting, but also very exhausting, very not reliable at all. And some of them are even self-destructing, and they pull you down with you. So you change over time. And listening to your channel for, I don't know, last 2 years, you changed over time. And you are a living, walking example of change, because you were violent in your past, and because you changed. You had some sexual relationships, and because you gained some experience out of it, and you don't have that anymore. You chose a different path. So there's a lesson in it. So yes, there is this certain dynamic that girls are attracted to bad men or badass leather jacket, whatever, bad guys. But most of which I know learn from it at some point. I mean, we can talk about both your divorces if it's appropriate here, and realize that's bullshit. I got tricked by my own, I don't know, what can you say, by my own instincts, by my own evolutional background, and you rationalize over it. So you overrule those drives and instincts by knowledge and wisdom. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, but so let's take an example. So Johan's on the football field. He gets tackled. He starts crying, right?
Yeah.
So Sori's immediately wants to, and I said, just hold on, and I didn't help him up. He got up by himself. He cried,
Yep.
and this is one of the confusing parts of the video, my guy, because I said in the video, it's okay to cry. It's good to cry. It's dumb to pretend you're not hurt when you're hurt. The false machismo is bullshit. So, one of the things.
But I thought you were separating instances there, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, the reason it was separate for you is because you paused them and you talked for 5 minutes and then you went back into the video. I'm not being funny, but it's like, I understand why they would be completely different instances, because you went on for a while, and there's nothing wrong with that. We watched the whole thing together because I like long form stuff. And if you, I don't know, we should consider publishing the video.
Share it.
But so you stop between the two. So technically speaking, I understand why you think those are two totally separate issues. Those were the exact same. I was talking about the exact same event.
Okay, fine.
So I the whole men don't cry thing. Look, the most alpha male guy in the Bible in the Old Testament was David. He's the ultimate warrior, and he cried his eyes out all the time in public. He cried over his best friend dying. He said, "Your love was better than women," yada yada yada, and he said that out in public in front of everybody. And he's the picture of masculinity in the Old Testament, right?
Yes.
So I feel like, the minute you hear that I am not going to pick him up when he's hurt, because there's a difference between hurt or injury, that you take that to mean that it carries with it this entire ideology of the false machismo and the braggadocio and the yada yada yada. Here's what's going on with me, and some of this has to do with the racial angle, right? So I come from Jamaica, I come to America. And immediately these
Yeah,
white kids follow us home. They call us nigger, this and that, right?
Mhm.
I come home and my mom didn't poo-poo me. She didn't go, oh, she said, man, don't pay those boys any mind. You're a prince, da-da-da-da-da. And the next time one of them says something, punch him in the eye. Now, everybody knows how much I love my mother, but she was wrong to tell me to attack those kids. But in my mind, what would have been more wrong would have been for her to poo-poo me and for her to coddle me and all this self-pity. All these kids did this horrible thing to you and make me soft, because the fact of the matter is the world and the America that I was going to inherit was going to be full of white people that would say all types of crazy shit to me. And if I didn't develop some sort of hardness, then I'd get eaten alive. I could tell you there are many capable black men and women that I've seen in the workforce and just throughout my travels, but because they can't get over it, because they can't deal with it, they have not progressed to where they should have. And you can always blame white people and you can always blame racism, but the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, if they were trained to have some hardness about them, so that they could prepare themselves to absorb that type of thing and keep going, then things would have turned out a little bit different. So you said something like, we can trust people to rise to the occasion when the situation warrants. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that people generally are going to be able.
Okay.
Just let me finish this and then it's your turn. I don't believe that people do anything without training. So I think everything of who I am and who you are is a result of training. And whether our parents were conscious or not, they were training us. So for example, when a man leaves his family and abandons his responsibility, that is a form of training. He's training that boy to believe that he doesn't have to stay with his responsibilities. So what I believe is that all of us are products of our training, whether our parents are conscious of it or not. So it's your turn now.
Okay. First of all, it's a very delicate matter, and I'm aware of it, because if we talk about raising your own kid, it's so complex, and if you know your kid very well, you might find yourself capable of exactly knowing in the specific situation where your kid is actually needed to go a little further, and is just faking it, or tries to find an easy way out, or if it's really too much. It's this make or break you situation. So for everyone, it's something different. Just listening to you and remembering how my childhood was, I guess we both agree that we differ a lot in what we think that your son might need and what I think I might have needed. So that's okay, and I'm trying to actually, subtract that out of this discussion. But let me put this to you. You talk about your son, and you talk about hardening him for the challenge that is life. The exactly same thing applies to women, first of all, because they will face hardship. And even more so because they are the weaker gender. Yeah. So they find themselves in a situation being bullied by men and not able to stand up against them in a physical way. So that's tough. Yeah? And the second thing I want to say about it is I thought about it afterwards. And if you artificially create hell for your own kids, I'm not talking about you, please be aware of that. But in theory, if you create a hell in order to make your kids able to endure hell, you're creating the very situation you claim to protect your children from or prepare them. So you make it really hard for them, but there is no reason, because you claim it will be hard, but you can't be certain to which degree. I mean, if this COVID stuff gets out of hand and war starts, like you hear it in the news, like let's say China and the US, how much are you willing to prepare your kids for the worst possible cases in your life and how much time and energy you're going to devote to that.
Yeah.
Which is the healthy degree, which is not. And that I question, because I was very open about, I didn't have those kind of really, really devastating confrontations you talk about, and I hear you talk about in your life, like seeing your friends die in front of yourself, I don't know, being attacked with a knife, with a gun, with a bat, being having to defend yourself on a constant basis in your childhood and whatsoever. I witnessed some shit, and I saw some things. Of course, I think in every big city, you will have to. But in order, but what I told you, we're living in very peaceful times, and I don't expect, coming from being 45 years on this planet, I see good chances that I will find myself in any situation in the future to actually have to punch anyone in the face, hurt someone, physically attack someone, or defend someone from anything else. And as we talked about, I rather, if I wake up in the middle of the night and an intruder is leaning over me in my bed, I, in the moment, would rather offer him, yep, take the money, have fun.
Yeah.
And not appeal to my male ego, like, who are you coming into my home and I will show you? And if I'm unlucky, that's the last things I will ever think or say.
And I agree with you. I mean, Dorian and I have debates about this because Dorian is convinced that when he gets of age, he's going to get a gun and all that. And if a home intruder shows up, he's going to lay him down. And so we've had very escalated debates because I don't believe that's proper for a Christian to do. At the same time, we've raised them to have their own worldview. So Dorian doesn't agree with me about immigration. I did get him to believe, he does agree with me for Medicare for all, but the whole pacifist stuff, he's not with it. Dorian doesn't like physical altercations at all. His thing is, I'm not going to go and wrangle with a guy at 3 a.m. If he comes in my house, I'm just going to shoot him. And that's that. And you know, that now Dorian has sat in on me when I've actually done moderated debates with, about pacifism with other Christians. So he knows where I'm coming from, and I've taught it to him and the boys. But that's his perspective. So I agree with you. The issue for me is, and I also agree that I don't think it's wise for a parent, especially a father, to go out of their way to create hell for their kids so that they can then endure hell later on. But the fact of the matter is, boys generally, when they get together, they play and they generally roughhouse and somebody gets hurt. And so my philosophy has always been to just use life as the teacher. I don't believe that we need to create situations in which we can teach them life lessons. I believe that life itself is the lesson, and it's your job as a parent to help. Hold on.
Can I chime in there then?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a perfect example for me and a perfect transition to what really matters to me in this discussion we haven't brushed on it yet.
Yeah.
If you watch your children, what do they play? Back in my days, perfect example would be cowboys and Indians, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where is this coming from? Culture. It's
Sure.
all culture. It's what you saw on TV. It's what you see your own father admiring, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
John
and
Wayne.
The whole Barbie and Ken thing and pink and blue being colors, all that plays into that. So
to a degree.
So already there, we're pretty much pushing our children into certain direction and roles as we speak. And if you say boys will be rather rough with playing around, that's already them copying certain mechanisms and certain things they already witnessed. That's not really coming from basic nature. It's already a mixed thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I disagree with that.
Please, let's talk about the male role model that we still witness in all media, and we totally find normal.
My brother.
Like, you turn on the TV, you see American football, and that's
my brother.
the pinnacle of manhood right there.
Sarcasm.
Right?
Yeah, hold on. I completely disagree with you. I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you why. My
Please.
father, my biological father, is the most docile, peace-loving man on the planet. And when I was in Jamaica, we didn't have TV. So when we were all out there playing, we were roughhousing. The girls wouldn't play with us. They say, "You guys mess everything up. You guys go over there. We'll go over here." And we'd play soccer, or we called it football, till the sun went down, and there was always some conflict, or somebody was always cut up or tore up or whatever. I'm not of the belief that boys and girls are just blank slates when they're born, and the only reason they take on certain characteristics is because of cultural influence. I just don't agree with that
agree,
at all.
But it's a mixture for me.
I agree.
It's both.
It is a mixture, and I'm probably 70% nurture and 30% nature, 70% nature and 30% nurture, and you're probably vice versa. What I'm saying is that the fact of the matter is, from my perspective, boys are just generally going to be more physical in their play. I mean, one of the things that's blowing one of the things that's blowing Sori's mind is the difference between Sayla and Orion. Because Orion is so much more physical, he's so much more assertive. Sayla was more docile, etc., etc. And so she's just blown away by how different they are. Now, I previously had boys and girls, so I already saw the difference when they were babies. But this is Sori's first boy, so she's like, "Oh my god, like he's so different than Sayla was." So I think that's some of the disconnect where I'm saying boys by nature are more physical. That's a nature thing. I don't believe that's a nurture thing. Now, how they decide to express that physicality, I believe is cultural. So let me give you an example. In Jamaica, the big heroes were not the Cowboys and Indians people. The big heroes were football players, soccer players, right? So when the boys get together, what are they going to do? We're going to play soccer. Well, in America, soccer is really not that big of a deal. What is a big deal? Media, John Wayne, yada, yada, yada. So what are they going to do? They're going to express their physicality, to your point, with the cultural marker of, Cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers, et cetera, right? So that's the part where I go, okay, yeah, that's definitely cultural, right? Like how the boys get together and express that physical urge to roughhouse is going to be different based on culture. But the innate desire to be physical for most boys, not all boys, because Johan will randomly throw himself on the ground for no reason. He just likes the contact. Dorian is not that way. Dorian likes clothes. He likes fashion. He's very, very big into fashion. He's very big into his appearance and all those things. And I encourage that stuff. That's what Dorian's about. Dorian's not about the throwing himself on the ground and all that stuff. Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. Let us take us to a really broad level and let's actually try to get away from your personal kids and all that stuff to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that men and women are not equal in physical strength, in endurance, in short bursts of power, whatever. This is exactly the reason why we have two leagues in sports, and you can debate a bit about it in detail, and it would take hours. I don't want to go in there, but basically, I totally agree. My point and my question, however, is, should we, based on those differences, boost and even heighten those differences and underline them through culture, or should we establish a culture that is right until the point where you can't deny the differences, from that point on, should be as neutral as possible? Question mark.
Yeah, I don't see the virtue in neutrality. Like for example, even when it gets to race, right? I don't see the value in denying that there are differences between races or cultures. And people people are triggered by that because they've seen how ugly racism can be, right? So sure.
Yeah, but some of it is undeniable, and I'm with you.
Right, but my perspective is, okay, yeah, racism is ugly. I've experienced it. I've taken part in it on both sides. But at the same time, recognizing that we're different. Like, for example, one of my favorite moments in the channel is just, I think it was Heilung or whatever, is anytime these Nordic bands talk about their old ways and their old culture and things like that, I love that. I'm fascinated by that because I'm like, hey, here's a race of people, a group of people I'm not familiar with, and now they're sharing with us, you know, their bloodline, their fathers, their mothers, and what their old ways were. And I find that fascinating and beautiful that some kid from the Bronx, New York can learn about Odin and all these other things. And, you know, one of them has become very dear to my heart. Kai, what's up, Kai? I think that's beautiful. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna neutralize race and say race, you know, or different cultures don't exist. How about we say, screw the racism bullshit and let's learn from each other and work together. It's the same thing with gender for me. And you're not. I don't think I'm hearing you say this, but this idea that we should be completely neutral when it comes to gender, I'm like, why would we do that? Like, Sori was talking. We were talking yesterday, and she was talking about how I will never understand what it's like to carry a child in my womb and then pull him out like she did with Orion, and I'm fascinated.
Eat two pizzas in a row.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated by that, right? Like I'm fascinated by women and how they're different from me and the complementarity between men and women. So I want to avoid as much as I possibly can any sort of flattening out or neutralization of things that make us different from each other. Because I don't
it's a very good example. Yet I don't see on TV on a regular basis things about the third trimester, giving birth to babies. We don't glorify that. It's just happening. But we glorify the strength, the athleticism of masculinity. See what I'm getting at? So we
hold on. Say that again because I want to process what you're saying. Say it again.
It's what we glorify and idealize. I see way more masculinity represented every fucking where. Like we have James Bond. I don't have an equal for that in as a female actor or movie or series.
Right. You don't see a woman with a giant baby bump being the hero.
Yes, it's happening now, and it's even, and I'm honest enough to admit, it's even annoying me because Netflix is steering in the other direction hard right at the moment, in every way, and it's a bit too much for me. But I get the gist, and I'm rolling with it and say, okay, it's fine. We probably need it. You know, we talked about the pendulum swing.
Yes.
About the sinus wave. We had Obama, now it's Trump, and maybe the next guy is a little bit more in the middle. Doesn't look good, but that's what I hope for. But I had my teenage years. It's the same pattern you recognize everywhere. I was raised as a very, very apologetic and nice guy. I rebelled against it in my teenager years hard, way too hard, and now I find myself in the middle of this position. It's necessary. I get it.
Can I ask you something though? Is the lack of that celebration of femininity, is that the responsibility of men, or can we place that blame on third wave feminism that seeks to shame women for having children? For having children, staying home, being nurturing, not wearing pantsuits. Yeah, can we place that blame on feminism and not so much a male dominant society? It's a question.
Both. I think you're onto something. Well, I talked about the pendulum swing, and in order to find balance, you have to go in both directions, in both extremes. And what I think we see right in history is a lot of women being angry and wanting to create the same circumstances and situations and equality, and they're way overdoing it. And men actually witness this, and as I just spoke about Netflix and what they're trying to do, they're annoyed. So they're looking at feminism and go, oh my God, I just can't take it anymore. It's too much. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're right. Mm-hmm. But feminism has every right to overshoot for some period of time, because I get where they're coming from. So it's like watching your teenager son or your daughter in the future. And you have to be patient because you know where they're trying to get to. and and they will overdo it and overstep and everything, but you have to be like the wiser guy and say, okay, whatever, it will be better in 10 minutes, So yes, it's both, but my point would be that I think we're in a transition period, because we're on the one side, if you talk to men on a personal basis, like on the street, you meet someone and this topic comes up, everybody tries to be very open-minded, very, very open-minded. But at the same time, the same guy goes into the movies and watches some movie, I don't know, John Rambo Part 25. And
it's the same movie all the damn time.
where some dude, and we're still not over that, where some dude takes revenge, kills everybody, is emotionally crippled as fuck, and we say that was fucking epic and cool, man. Like this, where I took offense in this warrior ethos and how we find it so manly and so cool. And my problem with that is only one thing, because of course I find it cool too. I'm just thinking about it, that it isn't an invitation to women. And that's what I criticize. So if I talk about culture and role models, I'm kind of missing the invitations to, hey, you are a girl, but how about physical sports? Would you like that? Would you like to try that?
Well,
do we do that actually? Or is it a given for men, but for women it's more, I don't know, my daughter is a little strange. I think she likes soccer or something.
Well, as I
overstating it, but
No, you're not, because I'm on both sides of that part, and here's why. So Sori is the most physically gifted woman I've met in my life. I'm just talking about physicality, her bone structure, the whole 9 yards. Sori could have done professional soccer. She could have also done professional UFC.
Here comes the point where she will physically dominate me in every confrontation.
It would be a good fight. But here's what happened to Sori when she was younger, okay? They'd play backyard baseball, and when she was up, they would tell her to basically not swing at the ball at all, because you can just walk to the base, right? So she was never encouraged to develop her athleticism. So we've got the video of her arm wrestling the dude and how she crushed that guy, right? Like, I remember, mega strong, fast twitch muscle, whole 9, very athletic. That was never encouraged for her, and because of that, she never pursued that. I genuinely believe, and obviously I'm not an objective source, right? I genuinely believe that if Sori wanted to do any type of professional sport, she would have been able to. She actually tore her ACL because we were playing pickup basketball. And she didn't tear her ACL.
She wasn't actively supported to go that road.
Correct. And by the way, she didn't tear her ACL because she's a girl. She tore her ACL because the dude that was guarding her was a lazy bastard, and I'm not going to get into all the particulars, but so I'm with you there as far as like girls, what about the physicality for them? Zoe is the most physically gifted athlete in the house among all the kids. And she's absolutely encouraged to, when we went to jiu-jitsu, we were playing around with putting them into jiu-jitsu for a while. Like, she was clearly the most gifted athlete in that entire place. And I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter. When they had him doing drills and all that, like, there was a vast difference between Zoe and everybody else. Zoe is extremely physical. If you told me one of your kids got in a fight, after Johan, I'd say it would be Zoe. Zoe's encouraged to be physical. Now, obviously, I don't encourage her to fight people and have conflicts with people. But I agree with you. There is that hesitancy to allow girls to be what they are. So like, for example, my son is very big into fashion. He's into his boots and all this, And I think there's a lot, especially in Black culture, which is something you're not familiar with. But in Black culture, like if he would, the Black father would be like, no, you're not doing that. That's, yada, 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 yada. And then conversely, with the girl, they would try to, tell her to tone it down and all the rest of it. So I agree with you that is absolutely an issue, and I see it as a problem for sure. But that's not what we do.
That's kind of my point, that these roles have still room to be improved and opened up a little until it, and not to the point that it becomes totally neutral or ridiculous. There is room.
Reimagined. Well, I agree. I agree. The roles we should constantly look at the roles and say, based on where we are in society, right? So, like, for example, we talked about this, right? If you're a man in Nazi Germany, it's different than being a man right now, because domestically speaking, we're in a relatively peaceful environment, right? So the duties that you have on a societal level are now different, and so you have to make those adjustments, right? And so I agree with that. I think we should always constantly be. I think the principles are static, right? The 4 principles are static, but the application of the principles are not static based on where we are in history.
Yes, exactly.
So I agree with that.
I would really encourage that what we see right in this crisis, and unfortunately we see it more in Europe than the US, that governments are actually reaching out to other governments, trying to learn what works best for them, and then integrate and apply it. So this, in my opinion, is the solution. You look at all the different cultures, because you said it's different being a man in Nazi Germany than now. And that's going far, that example, and of course I agree. But it's on a much basic level and present one. Look at Japan and the US. Look at my country, Austria, and the US. It's already a difference what a man, what's expected of a man culturally in the US and in Austria. And what I mean by that is it's maybe very similar, but you still have the army going on. You're still involved in conflict zones, in war. I mean, I'll give you a good example, okay? It blew my mind away. A really, really good friend of me gets nearly destroyed by his anxiety attacks, panic disorder, and whatnot. And he's really stranded, and they don't find an angle to get a hand of it. So I talked about it, and he's now in trauma therapy because they figured out there is some sort of childhood trauma, which he didn't knew of, and he can't remember. So, and here's the point. Actually, the trauma and PTSD research in America is like not even in the same ballpark than we are in Europe. They're so far ahead because PTSD, coming back from a war zone, is like on a daily basis an issue there, and it's not existential here in the middle of Europe. You know where I'm getting at? Yes, we have the Peace Corps, like the UN soldiers, to keep the peace, and sometimes things got fucked up in those situations. So some of them will come back and will have witnessed some serious shit. But you can't even compare that, which is all-day, everyday situation in America. Also, the same thing with veterans. So,
well,
I mean, teenager in my country, being a teenager in the US, the questions you have to ask yourself, the possibilities in which direction you could go, they're vastly different. You know where I'm getting to?
Well, yeah, I would just simply say that I know for a fact that American men in the military have had way more direct action combat than the folks on your side, especially from the Peace Corps.
Right.
So,
right. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a country and a culture that is forced to prepare themselves for this kind of situations, for hardening and steeling themselves to endure those kind of situations, they are not as free as, like, let's say, my culture, to move in a more, and I mean that in a good way, soft direction. You're stuck.
Well,
you can't move on.
Well,
you have to be prepared for direct confrontation.
Yeah, I think that's probably a stereotype of American. Most American boys are not saying, I need to play football so I can prepare for the military. Right? That's not the mindset. Secondly, it's definitely not the mindset in my house. You know, Johan went through a little a phase where he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted to be a Navy SEAL. And I said to him, because my thing is, I'm never going to squash any of my kids' dreams. I'm never going to, I'm going to give them principles, but I'm going to let them live their life and form their own worldview, obviously. So I never said, no, you don't want to do that. Now, I personally don't want that for him at all. I don't want my kids anywhere close to any sort of combat at all. And so he eventually said, you know what, Dad, I don't want to be a Navy SEAL anymore. I said, why is that? He's like, it's just too much time away from family. Because
Cool.
he actually
That's
said
the
that.
best reason.
He actually said that the last time I took one of my trips. And so that was pretty ironic, considering everything. But yeah, the last time I came back from one of my trips, he's like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. And I said, good choice, son. But honestly, most American males, my brother, are not thinking about being hardened so that they can join the military. Like that.
Yeah, I get it.
That's
just making a broader cultural point.
Yeah, you might be able to say that subliminally, but I mean, the vast majority of American males don't even join the military, and then those that do join the military, it's like a very small number that actually have combat MOSs. So,
Okay.
I hear you.
Another last and a very important question from me to you. Okay. There is the stereotype, and I don't even want to call it that way because for me it's reality. If you have a situation with friends, and let's talk about girls here, okay? Imagine 2 or 3 girls meeting each other, and one of the girl comes in, and she's devastated. Something really upset her, and she's very emotional. Imagine for yourself what will happen in the next 5 minutes. So what will happen? Let's say they're teenagers, like 16 years old or whatever. They will immediately hug her, console her, ask her what's wrong, listen to her patiently, and all the good stuff, okay? They will try to console her, and then they will go have an ice cream or whatever.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, of course. So, same example with boys. I'm not so sure what's going to happen there. And this is quite interesting, isn't it? Why am I not sure? Because in some instances, I see myself, okay, those are 3 16-year-old boys. The one is upset, but he won't get himself to actually cry, although he feels like it. The other will somehow recognize what's going on, but it will be more awkward than a positive confrontation and an invitation to open up. And one of the guys probably will hit him on the back and say, hey, guy, I know it's tough. Forget the bitch. Here's a beer. Let's get drunk. You see?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. So for one, I agree with you. The girls will, most of the time, although some of the times the girls will say, fuck that guy, let's go to the club or dance it off or whatever, which is kind of analogous to the beer thing. But I agree with you. They're gonna be much more inclined to hug each other and cry it out and all the rest of it.
And actually talk about it. That's a big difference. What happened to you, girl? Share it with us.
Right. And then now we have the nature nurture conversation again, because what I would say is that demonstrates the fact that women are by nature nurturers, and they have to, even from an evolutionary perspective, women are born with wombs. So it makes evolutionary sense that the female would be more nurturing because she's the carrier of the next generation, and by necessity she has to be a nurturer. She can't be a hunter-gatherer and a nurturer simultaneously. Those roles are too big for either men or women, and so you have to divide them, right? Even if you get out of a biblical worldview, I'm putting on my Darwin hat now, right? Even in times when we were hunter-gatherers, a woman couldn't sit there and be the hunter-gatherer and the person carrying the child and the person feeding and soothing the child. Like, you've got to break humanity to create these roles. So I agree with you. The girls would be. Now, as far as the boys go, that is such an interesting question. I'll tell you why. I know what my boys would do because I've seen it. Johan is the baby, and I've seen Dorian on so many occasions hug him, kiss him, console him, make sure he's okay. I've seen
you did a great job.
I've seen Johan go after his brother, like physically attack him, and Dorian would just kind of like dodge it and leave him, like he won't retaliate. But I can tell, and so then I'm thinking, because I remember you said this in the video, I'm thinking about my childhood. We did not do that. And I don't know if it was three boys. It's me and my two brothers, and there was not really a lot of expression of any sort of emotional duress at all when we grew up because horrible things were happening. Suicide attempts, cops finding guns, lives threatened, the whole 9 yards. And I don't know if it's because we were boys and we didn't think boys can do that, or if it was just because we were so overloaded with emotional issues that we just shut down in order to survive. You know what I mean? So I'm not particularly certain why we were not as emotionally available to each other. I mean, to this day, it's very strange. I'm thinking out loud here. Like, so for example, we listened to the Floor song, the Winter song. And at the time, my brother was going through an extremely difficult situation. And so
I remember that video, yeah.
So
Very emotional.
it was very, very, I was crying, but it's strange because I'm shooting this video and I'm like, this is going to be a very popular video. It's past 20,000 views now. And my thing is, we're going to be as real as possible. So if I hate Imagine, I'm going to say I fucking hate Imagine. I'm not going to change it. And if I cry in a video, I'm not going to change that either. Because the principle is we've got to be as authentic as possible, right? So we cut the video, I uploaded it. I remember thinking to myself, like, this is Floor. It's going to get a lot of views. A lot of people are going to see this. And what I was questioning wasn't, oh my God, I cried. I'm going to look, like I truly don't care. But what I was questioning to myself was, because I know my brother was going to see it because he watches our stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he comments almost every time on a video. The funny thing is, he never commented on that video, and I know he saw it. We've never talked about it, ever. And the way that I was feeling about him, because he's my little brother. I mean, he's bigger than me. He's got like 4 inches and 50 pounds on me, but he's still my baby brother. And we never have those conversations. So my other brother is in another job, and I used to have a very dangerous job back in the day. I got out of it, but now he himself is in a very dangerous job right now. So I'm worried to death about him, right? And I'm watching Game of Thrones, which had the worst finale ever. But there's that conversation between Jaime Lannister and his brother, right? The little guy. I'm sorry. What's his name? What's his name?
Tyrion, I think.
Tyrion. So Tyrion is saying, I wouldn't have survived without you. Right? Mm-hmm. They have that moment together. And he said, I wouldn't have made it without you. And he's talking to his older brother. So I clipped that video and I sent it to my brother, my older brother, because I didn't have a dad growing up, and
I know
that my older brother was I wouldn't have made it without my older brother. And so I sent that to him and I said, hey man, here. And he looked at it, and then 2 days I saw, it says, red or whatever. And then 2 days later he sends me a thing, word. Like that's how that's how we relate to each other. It's a very strange thing. So I
totally get it. But you know what? Exactly everything you describe here really annoys me for a certain reason. For some reason, I can't tell you why or anything more about it. I'm wired another way. I'm very emotionally direct. I want to express myself to my friends, also my male friends, and all I experience is I'm hitting a wall there. I have a time window of about 10 seconds. If I'm able to get in the first sentence everything I want to express towards a friend, and those might be positive things, by the way, too, I have to put it in there, but because right at that point, the awkwardness and the defense mechanism starts to kick in, and then it's over.
Yeah, and I've always been the emotional one between my brothers. But I'm the middle child. I've always been the emotional one, always.
So why I brought up this very very good and picturesque example of the two girls consoling each other and comforting, and the two guys more like being awkward and yeah, whatever, fuck that, let's have a good time or whatever,
Yeah.
is as long as those two pictures feel accurate to us, something is wrong. It should be that way, that I pitch this picture to you and you'd say to me, I have no idea what you're talking about. Here in the US, if a guy is upset or sad or whatever, the other guy will come to him, encourage him to talk about his emotions, all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the nurture part. And I don't even care if I think it's 50%, 70, and you think it's 30, whatever. There is a nurture part. And therefore, I think there is really room for improvement.
Oh, well.
And encouragement. So it's encouragement towards men being more emotionally open, way more, by the way. And you already have that in Spain and in Italy. The guys cry on the street if something is upsetting them. And it's totally normal. They're also way more physical, kissing each other when greeting them and all that stuff. So the awkwardness is gone, which is fine, and which proves it can be done easily. It's just culture. It's just nurture. And for the girls, on the other hand, to encourage them to, if they like, not to pressure them, but to offer it. If they like to be more, I don't know, go into science, go into physical sports, do it.
Well, yeah,
So
that's
about everything.
I agree, and that's the reason I'm so physically affectionate with the boys, is because I want them to be, because I know my brothers love me. I know that. I'm usually the only one that says it, but I know that they do. But it's just the way that we grew up. I think it's more because things were just so crazy growing up that if we got emotional about everything, we probably wouldn't have made it out of there, right? Because just it was insane. I told Sori, one of these days I'm going to write a book and nobody will believe that it's real. So because we were raised mostly by my mom, and my mom wasn't be a man, blah blah blah. But the problem that happened for my mom is that because she had to play both roles of father and mother, I don't think she was able to be as nurturing as maybe she wanted to, and because she had to be tough because she's a single black woman in a world that's everything is stacked against her, and so she had to have a certain degree of hardness to survive. I mean, we were in homeless shelters and all that, so she wasn't able to kind of, whatever. But I agree with you, and that's why I've tried to nurture that in our, recently there was a family situation. Johan got very emotional, and I sat back and I watched Dorian went and confronted the person, and he's tearing up, and he starts crying. Dorian's crying, Johan's crying, and then Zoe gets up and gets around Johan and puts her hand on his leg. And it was a beautiful moment for me because I was flashing back to my childhood, and I'm like, that would never happen. Like, I would be the one crying and upset. Everybody would be frozen at the table. I would storm off and punch a hole in a wall or go leave the house and not show up for a couple of days. And then I'd come back home. Nobody would talk about it. And if somebody did try to comfort me, I would have been like, Whereas Johan was able to take that from his sister and receive the comfort, and then Dorian felt free to be emotional and say how he felt about the effect on his brother. And so I was like, okay, this is good because this is not how we would have reacted. And again, I know my brothers loved me, and I'm sure my brothers would have wanted to do that. It's just we couldn't do that for whatever reason. And so I wanted to get out of my way and make sure that we create an environment with a lot of physicality. They know that they're loved. They still get kissed and prayed over every night. Dorian's taller than me now, and he still asks for it. And I'm very grateful for that. And he still lets me hug and kiss him. But so that's why I felt like we needed to invest some time, because I know me and you talked 2 hours yesterday, but I wanted to invest a lot of time in it because you know how big I am on self-awareness. And I'm like, well, if there's 1% of what Peter's saying that's true, then I've just become a better person by 1%, right? So, and the other side of that
You
is,
see, and this is important to me. I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm not blaming you. You're free to express whatever you want to do. But if there is really your urge to put those 4 principles you recited earlier out there in the world, and I'm watching your review, and I don't think you did a very good job in doing so. I'm just saying it, and you can do, of course, whatever you like with it, because I'm not even sure if that's your agenda. And if it is, I'll give you a good example. You know Henry Rollins, of course. I know you do.
yep,
Right? Yeah, I adore the guy. Really much respect for the guy. So he told one thing at one point in his life. He's a very, very smart, articulate, and sarcastic guy. Therefore, I love him, because it's a reflection. It's like, yes, we're very similar in that way. And and he told a story, and he said, okay, at some point in my life, I recognized I'm an asshole, because being sarcastic to guys who are not as witty as I am is nothing else but dominating them. It's not an invitation to, hey, let's hear your story. It's shutting them up in some way because I disagree. And I'm not even man enough, use it again, man enough, to openly disagree, but I indirectly disagree via sarcasm. So he tried to teach himself to get rid of sarcasm. And he said it was one of the most difficult and annoying things he has ever done. And this is right there where I think we all find ourselves culturally. It's so comfortable to stay in those stereotypes, like encouraging and admiring those heroes and warrior stereotypes. I heard you say, Vinny, by the way, that you are actually longing for the times where we had a clear, I think it was you.
yeah, clear good guy and a bad guy.
Well, yes, like a Hitler villain. You can go after him. It's all very black and white. It's all clear, and we find ourselves in a situation, and everything is actually mirroring this and reflecting this. The COVID situation. It's all complex.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes like Trump are totally not fitting for the problem because they still try to make it black and white, but it isn't. And we find ourselves in this ambivalent situation where we actually also are longing for it to be simple, but on the other hand, we realize it isn't. And everything that has to be considered multiple times and rearranged, and it's a learning curve, is annoying and it's tough because it's appealing to our endurance and it's not pleasant. Instant gratification is a no-go there. So we struggle. And this is the same thing, and this is why it's such an overlapping topic, I think. That's the same thing with masculinity and all which comes with it, because we talked about how our parents were to us and the family situations and what it is now. And our role in it is to question it and find our own position. And I know for a fact, I deeply believe in this, that the default position is to just repeat what was given to you. That's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Just be like your father was. Just be like,
Well,
just
I was encouraged not to be like my father because he wasn't there.
That's what we talked about too. But you're also very defined by it. You be the opposite or a copy of it, something like that.
Well, yeah, no, I was definitely defined by it. And as far as the good guy, bad guy thing goes, I can't get into a lot of it, but it's one of those things where, look, if you kill somebody, you would want to believe that you killed a tremendously evil, horrible person. You don't want to believe that you killed somebody that was in a tough situation just like you, and that you were part of an aggressive empire that's out there to expand their empire. So that's what I meant by that. But I definitely see your point.
But simplify it. It would be so good just to punch in one direction, hit your target, and it's over. That's the impulsiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not a way to solve anything.
No, I mean, obviously, we've been killing each other since the beginning, and we still haven't figured it out yet. That's why, we're adolescents. You know what I mean? Like, we've got just enough technology to kill ourselves like a 14-year-old behind a wheel. So there you go. I thought this was a very, very good and helpful discussion. Peter, what do you think?
Me too.
I love you, my brother. We're gonna meet each other at some point. I'm gonna give you a hug. You're gonna give me one of them European kisses. I'll allow it.
Yeah, if it's after the COVID madness.
Yeah. Inshallah. After the COVID, yeah, I'll take Overshadow Sean. Me and Overshadow Sean, we're gonna take a trip because I gotta, Overshadow Sean will make sure that I remain masculine after my trip to Europe, and everything is cool. All right, buddy, love you. I gotta get out of here because we were supposed to quit after 2 hours, but I gave some extra time to my buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Vin.
And thanks for calling me out. If you felt I was crazy, I appreciate it.
Anytime, you know me.
That's actually one of my secret. I have these like 3 or 4 hoops of like who my actual friends are, and that's one of them. So thank you, buddy.
I wouldn't be able to help myself anyway, so you're very welcome.
All right, man. Love you. Have a good one.
Love you. See you. Bye.
See, ladies and gentlemen. Agree at some points, disagree at some points, but nobody has to take anybody's heads off. And we love each other. At the end of the day, we're going to be brothers, and that's that. Simple. Okay. Phone call doesn't count. 2-hour fireside has to be straight talk. Yeah. My older brother, man. He's a good guy. He's a good dude. I think we can all agree that Peter's more manly than Vin. I agree. He's got me on the manly scale. Okay. No, I also agree. 275 being stoic is important and necessary. To some degree sometimes. Okay. Much love to everybody. Guys, stay safe. I know everybody has differing opinions on the COVID thing. What I would say is please try to at least for the next 30 days continue with the social distancing stuff. Wear the mask. It's not like horrible, right, to wear a mask here and there. I'm talking to myself because I'm not good with the mask stuff. But just take care of each other. We've lost some folks here locally because they were street people and they didn't have health care. So it is real out there, guys. People are dying, and just make sure we're doing our best to take care of each other. You know what I mean? What was the announcement about the channel change? Maybe next fireside we'll talk about it, because me and Peter, we've been having a running discussion that I felt the community needed to have. So we'll talk about it next time. I've got another guy that he's a nationalist socialist, and he wanted to set me straight on what National Socialism really is. So that's gonna be interesting. So we'll probably, the next fireside will probably have that. But there you go. Hey, Maddie in the house. Yeah, you made it. But it's time to go because we're over 2 hours. Sorry, buddy. Peter is sarcastic. Yeah, I screwed up and used his real name. But anyway. Is that Varg? Is he a socialist? No, it's not Varg. But it's another guy. I don't know. It could be Varg. Who knows? I doubt it's Varg though. Zombieholic. Later, buddy. I gotta go now. Sorry if you're still watching. We've got to record some stuff before we jump on our recording biz. And then we've got apparently an Ohio State rep refuses to wear a mask because faces are the likeness of God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. I got to get out of here. Have a good one, everyone. I'm going to text my brother again and make him uncomfortable. He really is one of the most awesome people on the planet, though. He really, really is. I'm not just saying that because he's my brother. I mean, he's a 1%er. What's up, Becky? He's the man. Word, Sean. You're another guy on the short list that I got to meet in the real world. Anyway, I keep talking. I got to go. Vin out. Sorry out. Go.